2008 Lexus SC430 GT500 race car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to Overfed Gaming. I am the Overfed. Today we are driving a 2008 Lexus in a World Touring Car 800 race. We're driving it at the Sardegna Road Track A. We're doing 15 laps. We started 20th of 20 cars and we started with a rolling start. Now 15 laps is going to take a little while to do, so the first thing I always like to try and make sure I remind myself of is where's the pit entrance and where's the pit exit, so that you know when you're done fueling up you can know whether you should just hammer down when you come out of the pit or whether you should be prepared for a turn right after you come out. Now this just so happens to be one of my favorite tracks, probably one of the top 3 tracks that I like, and I know where the pit entrance and the exit are, but just to be on the safe side we will remind ourselves again as we're getting familiarized with the turns and the corners, although like I said I'm pretty familiarized with this track, so I know exactly where the turns and curves and bumps and all that sort of good stuff is. As we're coming around the corner here, we're almost finishing our first lap. Now, we know 15 laps, nobody's going to be able to do that on one tank full of fuel, so we're going to have to split that up. Okay? Now, if we split it up 15 laps, you can split that many different ways, but if you want to split it even, 8 and 7 is the best you're going to get. Now, the pit entrance, it's a little wild. The pit entrance we just passed on the right-hand side, and the exit we're going to pass right here. So if you feel a little bit of a straight, you can hammer down. To get back to the fuel issue, if we split it 8 and 7, 8 laps might be pretty tight to how much you can use on your tire wear, and I'm not sure exactly where we sit on the fuel. So what I'm thinking is that maybe after 6 laps we're going to take a pit stop and then another one after 10. I think we're going to do 2 pit stops because it's really tight with 1. So we're going to do 2. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to try and race as hard as we can, try to keep up with what lap we're in so we know where we are in the race, as we always forget to count the cars. Well, there's too much going on with 15 laps trying to keep track of which cars you've passed, which ones you haven't. And then when you go into the pit stop after 6 laps, everything changes again. So I've kind of accepted the fact that when I'm driving a race where you have to fuel up, you just got to kind of try and go as hard as you can and pick these cars off one at a time. And the other thing I've also learned is that in anything 5 laps or longer, patience really helps you out. Now, I used to be one of those drivers that had to win the race in the very first lap, and it was horrible, and I didn't do all that well. I wouldn't win that many races, I would spin out, all sorts of things would happen, and it was just erratic, chaotic driving, and I really didn't care for that. So I decided to try and slow down a little bit. When you get up behind a guy and you want to get by him, if there is no opportunity, just stay with him. Now this particular track has got a few really good places to pass, and then a few places like right in here you're not going to get by him, so just stay behind him, relax, take it easy. If you were right close behind him, you could possibly pass him here, just like that. If not, you could wait until you get around this turn here. There again, you can pass them here, but if you're on the outside, be careful because this turns to the right and it throws you towards the barrier on the left. So you got to be careful if you power around somebody out there. Then as you're ripping up here, you can pretty well go straight and hard right until the right here where you got to brake for the tight turn. As you're coming around the turn, you're going to go back and forth here, and there's usually, if you're right behind cars, you can zip by them because they slow down quite a bit around those turns. You know, so you can zip by them if you're right behind them. is kind of like this. You're right behind them, and then they brake for the turn, and then you zip by him. I wasn't expecting him to brake that early, so I kind of I slowed down a little bit, and then I couldn't get by him. Over here, you just if you can't get by him, just wait till you get around the corner, and then the lap is done, and then you got lots of room. Now, one thing I do want to point out: when you come around that corner where the lap finishes, they all go fairly wide to the left because that's the way that the turn turns to the right, so you end up taking the turn a little wide as you go through it. But as soon as you go through that turn, the pit stop is on your right hand side. If you try to cut any cars on the inside there and they want to go into the pit, they'll ram into you. Now, I'm telling you this because it has happened to me. So I try to be a little bit more conscientious when I come around that corner and either wait until the car in front of me is gone past the entrance of the pit stop, or I wait and pass him on the left-hand side so I wouldn't be in his track, in his path towards the pit entrance. Just a thing to keep in mind, because if they hit you hard enough, they'll spin you out. They spin you out, they can damage your car. Your car won't drive quite as well, or go quite as fast. Cars will pass you, and you could end up losing the race because of one tiny little mistake, just like that. So keep that in mind. Now, as we're ripping through here, I believe I've been kind of losing track of the laps here, but I believe that this is going to be the end of our fourth lap. So 2 more before we go in and get fuel. Now, I'm not sure. I can't remember how much tire wear we get. I believe that 8 laps you're getting pretty close to getting worn out on your tires at 8 laps. But anyway, it doesn't matter. When we go in after 6, we're going to change the tires as well as fuel up, regardless of how much tire wear there is. I like to keep clean tires on. And when you're in there, it only takes a few extra seconds, so it's not really such a big deal. So, in the meantime, we keep ripping, and we had 19 cars in front of us, so that's quite a few vehicles to pass. Now, we've gone by quite a few of them, and this Lexus is one beautiful machine. It is absolutely fantastic. Grips the road like crazy, really good in the turns, but most of all, it's got really quick uptake, real hard throttle, and you got lots of power, lots of passing power. So the chances that we are in the lead at the moment after 4 laps, 4.5 laps, well, we could be right around the lead. I haven't seen any cars lately, so I'm not sure where everybody is. But then again, you got to remember, some of the cars that I'm ahead of could have already gone in for fuel once, right, at the end of the 4th lap. They could be splitting it into 2 fuel stops too. So that will put them quite a ways behind me. But then again, when I go in for fuel, that would put them into a catch-up mode. So all different things you can consider. Now we're coming up to the end of the, like I said, I think it's the 4th lap. I think we got 2 more to go. Haven't seen any vehicles lately, so we are either leading or the front of the pack is way ahead of us. I'm kind of leading towards the leading part, because I know that the lead goes back and forth a little bit, but it's only been just over 4 laps. So, but we're just going to keep ripping, and we'll find out when we go into the pit stop for our first fuel up exactly where we are in the lineup in this race. Absolutely gorgeous track. Weather is beautiful. Car, like I said, I just cannot say enough about it. I've driven this car a few times, and it's really solid on the road. Like, it feels really solid, even in VR. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful drive. And coming up on the top here, did I just see a car go around the corner, or is that just my eyes playing games with me? I don't think I saw anybody there just yet. Now we're coming up after this turn here, we got a couple more little turns, and we're done our 5th lap, I believe. Now, if we go into the pit stop now, that means I miscounted. So we'll just wait and hang on a second here, and we'll see what we're going to do. But I believe this is our end of our 5th lap. Pits are right around the corner. Yeah, I miscounted. This is 6 laps we've done. Well, that was quicker than I thought. 6 laps, and we're in the lead. We've got, maybe just around a quarter of the tire wear, 25%. So we're going to replace them. We're going to fuel right up to the top. But we got a 30-second lead. Now, there again, like I said, the cars behind us, they could have gone, several of them could have gone for fuel. Anyhow, our pit time is going to be about a 30-second lead also. So we're still going to be in a race. Now we're going to hammer down and keep it going. We're still in number 1, but we don't know for how long. It didn't seem to look like anybody was close enough when we came out of the pit. Now we're going to go and do lap number 6, 7. No, we did 6. Sorry, we're going to do lap number 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to fuel up again and leave 5 laps for the last leg. So we're going to do 6, 4, and 5. So this is an awful long race. I've never done one quite this long before. It takes a little bit more effort and figuring out to try and figure your strategy, whatever it is that you'd like to do. And you know, when you run this race, drive the race, I should say, if you drive it, and whether you win it or lose it or whatever happens, doesn't make any difference. You could always try a different strategy, say fuel up after 3 laps and then after 5 and then 7 on its own, just to see what kind of a difference it would make in where you place. You know, try a different fuel strategy. I've done that before, and it does change the way the race ends up. So give it a shot and see what you think. Now this is our first lap out, so that'll be lap number 7. So we're going to be starting lap number 8. And I'm going to have to remind myself several times here, because otherwise I will forget again where we are. Doesn't seem to stay with me as well because I'm paying too much attention to everything else. Now, don't forget, every time you come by that pit exit, don't drive into pit lane, because cars will be coming out of there as you go by. You never know. They could be coming out right as you're going by, and they would run into you. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen either. Lap number 8. The good thing about a race like this, and when you're in a section or a point in the race where you don't see any of your competition because they're on other sections of the track or they're in the pit stop, when you're at a moment like this, it's always best to take the track and try to use the full width of it as you're going around the corners to try and keep your speed up. Just practice it a little bit. I used to just race willy-nilly down the middle of the track, and I just, I come to a corner and I brake too late and all that kinds of good stuff that I never used to do properly. And I'm trying to be better. I use the full width of the track, and I cut the corners and I brake before I get to the corner now. I still overshoot them every once in a while. This one up ahead here coming up is one that I typically overshoot. But if you brake before you get to it and cut into the corner, you can take it very slowly. So that helps out, but you can't do that when there's other cars on the track. So when you are without vehicles there, have a little practice session by yourself, because sooner or later you're going to be catching up to another car again, like we're doing right here. And this will be lap number 9. So one more after this, and then we'll go get fuel again. Now I do believe this car in front of me is a lapper. By that I mean that I think he's car number 20, and I've passed him already and I've lapped him. So, and this is another thing that you will get into when you're driving anything over 5 laps. 5 laps is usually pretty touch and go, but anything over that, you could lap other cars, and you won't know because we're driving in VR with our display off, so we don't know what number that car was that we just passed. So to us, it's all just competition. If there's a car in front of us, then the Overfed has to be in front of them, because otherwise we're number two. And we like to be number one in every race that we run, although we know we can't do that. But we do have fun in every race that we run. That we do. We enjoy the games, we enjoy the races for what they are. And if we win, that's the extra gravy. That's the cherry on top. As we are now finishing our 9th lap, I believe we're catching up to another car, I see. Now we got one more to go. That looks like that yellow Corvette. Okay. Now I believe he's going into the pits. And there again, like I was mentioning earlier, if you were close enough, you don't want to pass him on the right-hand side because he'd be slamming into the side. He's going to go in for a break and some fuel. We're going to do one more lap. Oh, see, there's a guy coming out. Now, if you were over too far, you would have been running right into him. And because you got more speed, because you're on the track, and he's just throttling up, you're going to ram into him really hard and cause a lot of damage. And that will change the way your car drives again, thus hindering you being able to win the race. Now, this guy in front of us, I think, is another car that we've already lapped. And there again, you don't know. You don't know. You can only just keep on racing. Just catch up to the next guy. Cut him, decide which side you want to pass him on before you get to him. I have that sometimes where I'm not sure which side I want to go on, and I get right up behind him, and then I end up not passing him because I run out of time. Because I can't make up my mind quick enough. You have to know which side you want to go on before you get to it, which is not always easy because the track curves from left to right constantly. Anyhow, we got another couple of cars up ahead of us here. We seem to be catching it. It looks like a blue Viper, and I think that red car might be a Corvette. A Corvette or a, no, that's a Ferrari. And a blue Viper. Now we're going to take over from the Ferrari, but blue Viper's no point because we're going to be going off the track here. Get some more fuel. Change the tires again too. There's no point in not. Well, we got a 37-second lead at the moment. Our tire wear is fantastic, and we needed a little bit more fuel to finish the race. Now we do have 5 laps to go. And there again, too, the same idea, that lead, it's deceiving. Well, let's get those tires on there, and let's get this thing fueled up, and let's go. You might as well just keep rocking. I always try to stay over a little bit when I come out of the pit stop here, just in case there's a car coming through, because that's one thing that's happened to me before too, where I was coming out of the pit stop and I was in the pit lane and they still run into you. Now you can be right all you want, and that's fine. You have the right of way, but if he runs into you and damages your car and you can't race very fast and win the race because of that, him being right really doesn't have much of a meaning anymore. You know, let's just try to avoid the accident altogether, and then that way we can still win the race. That's the thing that we got to do. That's the ticket. That's the way we got to go. Now, as we're coming up here, we're going to see there's a car up ahead. I believe I saw just making a turn, or is that another one of those cars? He's right there. And like I said, when I'm racing, I don't like to be the lead car in a race because I don't like setting the pace of the race. But this way, if the cars are scattered throughout on the track, and even if you've lapped them, it doesn't matter because you don't know. You'll see a car in front of you, and he is your new pace car and sets the pace for you. So, which is another pro for racing races that are over 5 laps. You know, you're really not sure where you are anymore. You just keep racing and keep passing whoever's in front of you. See, we got a couple of cars up there in front of us. Is that 2 or just 1? cars to it. So you see, it gives us a little bit more competition as we are heading into lap number 12, I believe. Because we did 10 laps, came out, did lap number 11. And here we are back up behind that whatever that was. We put him behind us. Oh, there! I see there's another car in front of him here. So we've got some more racing to do here. He's getting away on us, but not for long. Not for long. This is lap number 12, and we're about halfway through it now. We still got a little ways to go. A little ways to go before we see the final checker flag. And there again, I hope that we're going to be the winner of this race, because this has been a tough race, a long race, but very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. And the fun factor on this one is through the roof, that's for sure. And I noticed that there was another car, a little red car in front of him yet, so a bit more competition to try and catch up to. See, right over here, you can sneak past them on the inside if they slow down too much. At the beginning of the race, when everybody is going top speed, you can't do that. But once everybody settles down a little bit, you can sneak by them in some of those tight corners if you're just in the right place at the right time. Now, this should be lap number 13. Well, no, there's a car way up at the end there. Lap number 13. And then two more. Like he's trying to get away on us, but the Fed's not going to let that happen. And they're going to get her. Oh, no, there's two up there. I thought there was just one. There's two up there. All right. Now we can catch up to him through this here section, and then maybe catch him on that climb up the hill around the corner. About. But like I said, I do believe these cars, I believe that every car we're passing we've already lapped. I believe we're in first place right now, so even though I'm going hard, I'm not going really crazy hard. I'm still trying to keep it under control, because I don't want to be banging into the walls or overshooting a corner or running into another car. I do believe we're already leading, so there's no need to drive chaotic. It's just not one of my favorite ways to drive anyhow. So we're almost finished this lap now. And as you can see, some of these guys that I'm passing, they're pretty easy to pass. They're not going very fast. So they're obviously not any of the lead cars, because they're going a lot faster. Here we are, lap number 14, I do believe. And I hope that I'm counting that right. Okay. Now we're just going to step it up a little bit, but stay on the track. Let's stay on the track. So we might catch up to another car or two that we can pass. In a lap and a half, or a little bit over a lap and a half we got left. Oh, there's somebody up the road there, just in front of the little church. That gives us something to reach for. I think he's still within, and he would still be within reach. Yeah, right there. Well, I tell you, if you ever have the opportunity to drive a car like this in Gran Turismo in VR, give it a shot. You will not be disappointed, and I bet you, I would even hazard to guess, if you drove this race, you would drive it 2 or 3 times in a row, you would like it so much. And we're finally catching up to them, and that looks like the blue and white Nismo Nissan, and as we're cornering here, that looks like that blue Viper. Looks like like that blue Viper that we were behind when we went in for fuel up. Now we got one more lap to go, so we got a chance to get ahead of him yet. I believe this is our last lap. Oh, wait a minute. This can't be our last lap. This is our 14th lap. The other one was our 13th lap. I miscounted again. I was already into the victory lap. But no, sorry, I was right. This is our last lap. I'm sorry, I was looking at the counter and I misjudged it. This is our last lap. So if we're gonna pass this guy out, and that up ahead, I believe, was the Viper. We might not be able to catch him in time because there's another car in front of him there. The white Viper with the blue stripe and the yellow Corvette. If we hurry, we can still catch him before the lap is over. Absolutely fantastic. I just love this race. I know it's a little bit longer than normal, but well worth it, I tell you. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some tips or tricks, or hope you got something out of it. And if you just came to watch it just for the fun of it, absolutely awesome. Love it when you come to view the videos and like them and share them. And if you don't want to miss any of the upcoming videos, and we got some good ones coming up, hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, you've been racing in a 2008 Lexus SC430 GT500 with me, the Overfat.